all day. I got my first telescope. One of the first things I ever bought had to be about 15 years ago. Remember we used to sell telescopes a long, long time ago? And it was a tripod telescope. It was about the same size as this one. I think I spent $100 on it. And I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, okay? Telescopes have come a long way. And I will tell you, you want to talk about the greatest gift you can give anybody, kids, college kids, grown-ups, seniors, anybody, because anybody and everybody can take their eye and put it to this little dial right here. I'll walk over to this little dial right here, and an entire world can open up to them. Can you imagine, I said before, I got my telescope. What's the first thing I looked at? The craters on the moon. And I remember thinking, that's not a picture. That's not a movie. That's the moon right now. There is something, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I was so overwhelmed by it. And then I was moving it around. I'm looking at the whole, as the moon, when you look at the moon, there's like, it almost looks like it's rough all around the outside. And then you can see all the dark craters, all that stuff. Maybe it's a constellation. Maybe it's Orion. Maybe it's something you want to see. You want to share that with your kids or your grandkids? This is the way to do it. But not only will it do the stars, mine is only a celestial telescope, which means the stars, right? This one is also a terrestrial telescope, which means you can take this and you can see mountain ranges. You could take this out on your patio and you could see across the, here across the bay to things that are miles and miles and miles away, right? And you can bring those in closer. So this is $109 and worth every penny. We dropped the price. The price went down yesterday to $79. And then my producer Jared said, guess what? They're doing a Black Friday deal for us at $69. I almost fell off my chair. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Not only that, it comes with a backpack. Because the problem is, how do I want to go hiking and camping. I want to bring my telescope. How do I bring it? We're giving you a backpack. Joe, does it come with the tripod too? And it comes with the tripod. Look, there's a tripod under there. So now, because one of the things with a telescope, you don't want to be shaking it. So now you've got a steady weight. Like mine is just a mini. It doesn't expand all the way up. Joe Harrison.
Hey, Guy.
Joe, I'm sorry to make you wait so long. You know,
okay.
Jared's yelling at me. He's like, bring Joe out.
I know you're excited about it, man.
Dude, well, because I think if there's one thing you can give to kids, especially, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because all they've ever seen is this stuff in pictures and books.
That's my kids. You know, they've lived through iPads and tablets and seeing the moon and what it looks like in a picture. And I still remember the first time my kids looked through the eye finder and then they saw the craters of the moon. They saw the moon. That's the most popular thing people want to do. It's that real life moment that you're thinking, okay, that's really up there. I'm really looking at it. You're not looking at some picture. You can really see the contrast and the details of the moon. And with this one here, I love that it comes in multiple positions. You can put it up on a tabletop. You can stand it up, and I'm 6'2", and I can stand it right next to me, and you can see everything. So whether you're putting this on a picnic table, you're taking this to your driveway, you're putting this on top of a car, it doesn't matter where you want to go, you take your telescope with you. You can go in your backyard, you can go to the park, you can go to the beach, you can go all these places, and you can see what this can really discover and show you through the lens. And when you're talking about a telescope, Celestron is the #1 brand when it comes to telescopes. They've been doing this for over 60 years. This is a compact version, but they also sell these massive telescopes to universities. They anywhere from the small to the big. These guys are the #1 when it comes to looking through telescopes. But when you see how simple it is to use, it's got the mount that you can swivel the base around if you want to. You can lock it into place. You can swivel it up, tilt it down. You can pan and zoom. But then when you've got it locked into place, the optics that are on here, they're different than anybody else. These are all glass optics. Normally, under a couple $100, there are a lot of plastic optics, and what ends up happening is the plastic will warp, it'll weather, it'll yellow, it'll smear, scratch over time. Then before you know it, you're looking at the moon and it doesn't look like the moon. It's just, it's out of focus because you have plastic optics. Everything on here is glass to make sure you have the best experience you've ever had with a telescope. Now, what can you see? We're giving you a couple different lenses that are included with this today to make sure if you want to look at the moon, you want to look at the stars, you want to look at galaxies, or you want to go in your backyard, you can easily do it. So we have two different telescopes, or two different lenses for you. The first one is a 10mm lens. This is the one that's a little bit further range for you, that you can see up to 40 times away with the 10mm lens. And then with the 20mm lens, you're looking at something more on the ground. So if you want to look here at the terrestrial telescope, something that's in a backyard or in a park, you've got that. With the 10 millimeter, you're looking up at the sky, and you can easily swap them out. But the other thing they've done is they make these lenses with a little silicone pad on the outside. So it's really easy to push your glasses up against it. You're not gonna scratch it. It really gives you a comfortable view when you're putting that right there. Now, the other thing too is when you're trying to line up the moon, if you just tweak a little bit, tap it a little bit, you'll never find the moon. So on the other side of the telescope, they actually give you a finder scope. And I love that they're doing this because sometimes when you're looking at the moon with Guy, do you know how far the moon is?
236,000 miles
It's over
away.
a couple 100,000 miles
Yeah, I don't know how I know that, but yeah. No,
I know you've got a memory for that.
Well, I have a telescope. I have a telescope. I need to know things like that.
When you're trying to find that with the telescope, it's going to be impossible. Well, we give you a finder scope, so you go ahead and you find the moon, you find Saturn, you find whatever you want to look through that, and then you dial in with a larger telescope. So even if you've never used a telescope before, they're giving you all the tools to just take it out of the box, go to your backyard, and you'll be amazed what you'll find.
And a backpack to take it with you.
I love the backpack.
Mine doesn't have any of that stuff.
Most of them don't.
And I will tell you, the viewfinder, that's the key to successful viewing when you're looking up at the stars, because you get frustrated initially if you don't have it, because you have to fine tune pretty tight to get the moon.
You do.
But when you have the finder scope, it puts the moon in the frame. Then you go to your telescope and you adjust the magnification and you basically get rid of the blur. And then let me tell you, prepare to be amazed. The first time you look at it, you will be in silence and you will look at the craters and you'll be like, I've never seen a live image of space. It's a live image of outer space.
It's really cool.
To me, it's beyond talking about. Plus, my compact telescope does not extend all the way to the ground. So I have to put my telescope on a table. And I don't always have a table where I'm at, so I always have to, or I have to put it on my lap, and then I can't get it focused properly. We're giving you the tripod. We're giving you the backpack. And why would you want a backpack? Where are you going to want it? You're going camping in the middle of the woods. You want to look at the night sky. I'm in Vermont, where there's no pollution. You never seen the sky up in Vermont? It's black.
Yeah, there's no light pollution.
There's not a lot of industry up there. It's amazing. Same out in the Midwest, right? You got to get this. All right, here's what I'll tell you. We dropped the price $40. It's the best gift you could give anybody. I mean, who doesn't want a telescope? What kid wouldn't go, oh, first thing I got to take outside. I can't wait till it gets dark. But remember, you can see things during the day because it's a terrestrial telescope. So if you want to take this to a game, right? Maybe you're up in the bleachers. You're like, set up we want to get right in on the action. You can do stuff like that. I used to live out west, the Grand Canyon, the mountains. I love Colorado. So you could do land or you can do the sky. If you can't do 69, Jared, let's pop up the 8% credit card and drop the price $40 for everybody. If you don't have a card, get a card today. That price will change from $69 to $29.
Wow.
I mean,
it's a great
$29
gift.
for a telescope, free shipping and handling. Can you imagine the look on your kids' faces? Because I'll guarantee they're not going to get a telescope from somebody else. Maybe grandma and grandpa gets you a telescope. It grows with you. You never get tired of it. I've had my telescope for 15, 20 years. You know where it is? It's on my kitchen counter.
I know, I've seen it.
You've seen it. You've been over. It's still there because I'm like, hey, I heard there's going to be something going on in the sky.
There's always something going on.
Joe.
That's the thing. Like, even if you're getting this as a Christmas gift, on December 27th, it'll be a full moon. The brightest time of the year because the weather's colder. It's going to be clearer in the sky. It will be a full moon. So if you're giving this for a gift for your kids, that day, Christmas Day, you take it out and they can see the moon. And that's what most of us want to do. Now, what type of magnification do you need to see the moon? Only 25 times magnification. We're giving you up to 40 times magnification. So you're going to see the craters of the moon. You're going to see so much detail in the moon that you've never seen before because you've never had a telescope like this. But that's just December 27th. Throughout the course of the year, there's so many times when Saturn will be aligned with Mars, or there's going to be a galaxy that's within your area. And then there's also, for us, we live in Florida, but there's once a year, there's a comet in the southern hemisphere that looks like what you think is the perfect comet. It has the ball flame, and then you see the tail. And it's there for 3 nights. And every year, my kids look at it. We go out just to the front yard and look at it, and it is astonishing how many things will happen every year. But for a lot of us, you're thinking, well, how do I know this? Celestron, again, they've been doing this for over 60 years. They're the #1 telescope manufacturer in America. They give you this great app called the Sky Portal. Watch out for this when it comes in your box. This is how you find out what's available for you. You just download the app. It works on all your phones, and you can see what's in the night sky.
Oh, that's
you can
so
see
awesome.
what's in the night sky tonight, what's coming up. You can just say, what are the big events in tonight? And it'll tell you all the different things. But then it's also educational. So if you've never heard of this galaxy, you've never heard of this constellation, you've never been able to pull up this comet before, you tap it, and it gives you that information. And this is all done with a telescope that's right here, that collectively, Guy, the whole thing only weighs 3 pounds. Sometimes you think of a telescope, it's gonna take forever to set up. It's gonna weigh 20 pounds, nobody wants to carry it. You put all this together in the backpack, it's 3 pounds. So if you're going to the park, you're going to the backyard, you're going on vacation, like for us, next summer, we're going to Yosemite and we're going to Sequoia National Park. We're bringing our telescope not only to see the galaxies, but there's so many birds, so much wildlife, there's bald eagles, so many incredible things. This is coming with us because it's just 3 pounds.
I never brought mine when I traveled, only because I didn't have a way to take it with me.
This is the easiest way to do it.
I didn't have a case or anything like this.
Everything is included.
And it's a padded case, so you can take it with you. I went to, years ago, I went to Zion, and I went to Bryce Canyon, I went to all those places, and I was like, oh, I wish I had, I had brought some more stuff. I wish I had brought things.
Right.
And the night sky out there was amazing.
It's so beautiful.
I lived in Arizona, right?
Oh,
Believe it or
man.
not, Phoenix, because there's a lot of pollution in Phoenix. People don't realize because it's trapped by mountains. But if you go up to Sedona, or you go up to like, a little more farther north, like you're going to the Grand Canyon, the sky is black as coal. And then you look up and you see these amazing stars. It's amazing what you can see. And not just the moon. You can see other things. You can see constellations. You can see all kinds of great stuff. You never grow out of enjoying a telescope. That's one of the things that I really love about it. A lot of games and toys and things like that kids grow out of. Your kids will grow into this over and over again. Not only that, you put this out at a party, like just have it, like, why do they gotta leave mine out?
Right, people want to see it.
I got a friend coming over and she's like, oh, you have a telescope. Okay, let's step outside, let me show you the stars.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's a great, great piece to have. And our price, Joe, I'm so glad you talked about the lenses, because I bet mine might have plastic lenses.
Oh, that's the thing. You look at these
are glass lenses.
All glass optics that are on here. So that makes a difference, because over time, plastic will yellow. You can scratch it. It'll become out of focus. This is glass optics on here. And this is what Celestron does. They give you high quality components to make sure this isn't just a 2023 telescope. You're gonna be using this for years to come, because the optics are so great. Now, the other thing too is when you're setting this up, we give you 2 different lenses. We actually even give you a mount too that gives you a 45-degree angle, so it makes it easier that you don't have to get down low to look at it. You can look at it even while you're standing up. So we give you 2 different lenses today. One is a 20-millimeter lens, and this is for everything that you're seeing, down on the ground. So if you're looking at birds, you're looking at squirrels, you're looking at, for us, some bears and bald eagles, this is the one that you're taking. When you're looking up at the night sky, that's that 10-millimeter lens that you're swapping out right there. And it's just as simple as popping one lens out and taking the other one out. That's how easy it is to change out the lenses. It's even soft, tipped on the end, so if you have glasses, you can put your glasses right up against it. You're not gonna scratch your glasses, and you're gonna get a great seal right up against it. That's all you need to do to be able to look at the night sky. And if you wanna look at the moon, you only need a 25 times magnification. We're giving you up to 40 times magnification. So now you're gonna see, Venus and Mars and Saturn. You're gonna see all these planets that are out there, and they're not always out there at one time. Throughout the year, different things are going to happen, and you'll hear it on the news. You're like, oh, next week, guess what's going to be aligned? The moon, Jupiter, and Venus will be all lined up, and you can see it with a telescope just from your backyard.
And that's one of the things, and when you just said that, I was thinking, it's so like, it doesn't care what age you are.
Yeah.
You can be any age. In fact, I think the older you are, the more you appreciate it. I honestly do, because a lot of us, like we said, when we were younger, they didn't have any of the imagery like they have now, right? You're going to see live, almost real time, because space, there's a space-time continuum thing, whatever that is. But you're seeing it as it is. You're not seeing it as it was. You're not seeing it in a picture. And if you're having parties, if you're having get-togethers, there's nothing better than going outside with a glass of wine with your friends and being like, hey, let's go check out and see the full moon. And they're like, oh, you mean the craters of the moon? And you're like, yeah, I'm not talking about that yellow bulb in the sky. I'm talking about the actual craters. It's funny, every time I would look at it with Danny, I'd be like, hey, let me know if you see an American flag up there. Now, you can't quite get that close, but you can see textural.
Oh,
You can see
absolutely.
mountain ranges on the moon.
You can see some
Craters.
You'll see the detail that your eye won't pick
Shadows.
up. And a lot of
Yes.
us, we love to see it. Like the moon is the most